I'm loving this energy, like, this long into the press thing, like.
You gotta keep it fresh.
Yeah, you're enthusiastic. I mean,
I can collapse later.
you're Hawk Girl. Nothing makes you collapse.
It's true.
She'll just be resurrected.
Yes.
So what's it like voicing a badass?
It's an honor.
Yeah.
But when you realize it's a badass that's existed since 1941, it also becomes a bit daunting. That's what was so amazing when I was doing research. I didn't realize that she'd been around that long. And to know that there's 80 years of history that you both have to honor while also putting your own take on it as an artist is can be a challenge. So for me, it was kind of about like trying to find that balance.
I'm curious. So you've done a lot of voiceover before. Some characters like Zethrid has really. I can't even recognize your voice right now that you did Zethrid. So
I haven't killed anything today.
So I'm really curious. Creating performance with Hawk Girl. How much of it was, I guess, not changing, not so much your voice. I guess performance. I guess how you found your Hawk Girl voice.
Well, one thing that's unique about Hawk Girl is she's a woman of action, and when you're doing voiceover, that can be difficult to navigate because you don't have a whole lot of words to explain what you're saying and doing and thinking. So instead, you're trying to find nuances and grunts and in effort sounds and trying to keep that creative, and for me, that was one of the challenges and what made it a lot of fun, to play her, is kind of figuring out how to take aggression and give it some variation to it.
So, how does she relate to the other heroes that she's working with?
I don't think she wants to, but what makes the story compelling is that she's forced to work with her enemy. She's forced to reconcile with the fact that she might have something in common with them, and that they may actually have common goals, as it turns out. She's also forced to reckon with the fact that she can't do it on her own. And I think for someone like her, that's a point of pride. And I also think her having this team around her forces the character to have, a little bit more of an interesting take to her. It's not just one note aggression all the time. The other characters kind of bring out these different sides of her.
And kind of playing off of that, was there a specific character that you enjoyed working off of or having scenes with?
Well, what's remarkable is the fact that until today, none of us have ever been in the same room together. All four of us. So you're doing your performances blind. Usually you don't have any of the other actors' performances to go off of, so you're on your own. It can be challenging, but that's also what makes seeing the final product so much fun and so exciting, is you're like, oh shit, that's hilarious, because you get to see how you're working with other people and that it works. It's a miracle. It's a miracle that you can all record separately and somehow create chemistry, and that's a testament to our writers, to our editors, and it makes it an adventure for us as well.
Do you get a backstory though, like from the directors telling you these are, going forward, take, John and Hawk Girl, like in the Justice League animated series, they're in a relationship, they have contention, all of that. Do they give you information like that that's kind of where we're going with the character, or do they just let you go, take it however you want it, and we'll see what happens?
I was kind of cut loose, it's obviously something you're going to research. It's not every day that you play a character that has a history, right? You're usually playing something that's just new and made up. So as an actor, it's amazing to have that trove of information. As with most characters, though, there's a lot of conflicting stories, there's a lot of fan fiction, there's so much to sift through. So it's about, taking the things from her that were consistent in all the performances over the last many years. Taking those consistent traits, keeping them there, and then finding a way to bring it not only into myself, but into recent times, right? Trying to make it relatable, trying to take it and apply the messages and things that have already existed and put them in today's terms.
There's been a lot of talk of how it's about time we've gotten a Jon Stewart story, but I also kind of feel that way about Hawk Girl in a certain sense with the Thanagarian Wars and stuff like that. Is this a character you'd like to pick up and run with, maybe in a Hawk Girl movie or Hawk Girl and Hawkman movie at some point?
Absolutely. I think it would be extremely interesting to actually witness kind of her romantic side, to see the type of person that softens you. We all act different around the people we love, right? We have one exterior version of us, and then I want to see the version of her that's like Netflix and chill. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, what does she eat at home when she's on the couch? Does she got like popcorn, or is she, you know, just sitting there shining her mace all the, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
what is her, you think about like your character's at home life, right? Like, what's the normal shit she does? But I think it'd be amazing to take a character like her that's so has a one-track mind, is very warrior-based, and put her in a situation that warms her up a little bit.
How exhausting is it as a voice actor when you have to do those action scenes? Like, I'm assuming, you know, you're getting all into it, so when they finally roll and say cut at the end, like, are you just drained?
You are, and there are safer and less safe ways to do that.
Yeah.
You know, you're kind of taught ways to create effort sounds and to use your, like, you know, do battle chatter in a way that doesn't wreck your voice. That has to be a conscious physical choice, right? You're using your diaphragm, so you don't just fry your voice. With Hawkgirl, what was unique about this particular performance is that she doesn't always say a lot, you know, and so it's like trying to convey information through those sounds. And imagining, I can only imagine if they had a camera in the voiceover booth and you're just in there by yourself being like, "Hurrah!" Like just knocking things over and yelling, and we probably look absolutely ridiculous. But when you don't have to worry about what you look like, you can just kind of go there, make weird faces, do weird body movements, like whatever gets the sound and quality that you need, you know?
So there's some of the things that set her apart from other heroines.
I think, well, number one, I love that her history, you know, they say initially her origins in ancient Egypt, right? There's kind of a mysticism there. And she is otherworldly. You know, she looks human, but in her presentation, you know, there's kind of an affected way that she speaks, and it's very deliberate. And I think that there's kind of this regal sense to her. And I think that I like that she's tough. I like that she's pointed and has a lot of like aggressive movements. It's not meant to be fluid and pretty and girly. I appreciate that she brings, you know, a very grounded kind of intensity to it.
So even though she's warrior-like and very serious, I think there are actually some humorous moments in the film for Hawkgirl. Like when she first meets Anne Strange, the first thing is to kill him immediately.
Yes.
For you, bring in some humor for the character, for a normally serious character. For you, how was that for you?
It's great, and it creates a multi-dimensional character, right? With something like Hawkgirl, it's so easy to make it one note. She comes in and she smashes and she's gone. You know, it's like finding the nuance, finding the humanity, and watching her, someone who's very in control of herself, be made uncomfortable by other people, you know, her interactions with Adam Strange, you know, or with the Green Arrow in particular, like, they're just very different personality types. So watching her kind of squirm a little bit and figure out what her place is in this ragtag group and trying to be like, guys, you gotta go do something about this. It's funny to watch her kind of herd cats in a way, because she's just, there's no extra with her. It's all mission first, you know?
It's interesting because VO for video games, sometimes there's a motion capture aspect of that. So, like you said, you can actually capture those facial expressions and things like that. What is it like for you to have a performance like that and then have to wonder what it's going to look like after the fact and then seeing it for the first time?
You know, when you don't have to worry about lights, camera, angles, what I'm wearing, what I'm touching, the set, all of that allows you to really focus, because you're just driving everything through one vehicle. And that for me is really comforting, and it really allows you to kind of dig in. Again, because you don't have the space to really move around and fully act things out. You're kind of improvising and just adapting as best as you can. But it for me is kind of a zen thing, because I'm not worried about anything else. I can do whatever I need to do to get the sound to come out of my mouth, but this is all that I'm concerned with, and that's kind of freeing.
Have you seen the final product?
I have.
Was there a scene that when you recorded it, you were super excited to finally see come to life?
It was almost the opposite, in that I didn't know what to expect because we hadn't heard anyone else's performances, so it was really fun to watch it with fresh eyes, even though we read the script. You know, the moments, even in the trailer, when I first saw the trailer, and I know that I come in the room and screaming at everybody, being aggressive and all this stuff, and they cut to Green Arrow and he's like, she's fun. You know, and like watching that moment for myself the first time, I was laughing so hard. So it's like a treat, you know, you get to see how everything falls into place.
Do you think if you got to record though with the entire cast, it would have changed anything in your performance?
I don't know if it would have changed our performances, but that would be interesting because, again, I was saying it's a miracle that you create chemistry that way without being in the same room. You know, I think that we would have had a lot of fun. I think it would have taken twice as long to shoot it because we'd all just be goofing off with each other. So maybe it's good that there's only one of us in a room at a time. But I think maybe it would have played up some of the character, like the personality difference, and maybe there'd be some more heightened aspects of each other's personalities, but maybe that would have been too much, you know? So it's like, it's amazing to see how it works out the way we did it.
What is it like being at a place like this at Comic-Con, knowing that you're going to be coming out for a panel and fans are going to get to hear this is like your first chance to get reaction from fans from this film for the first time? What's that experience going to be like?
It is extremely exciting and extremely nerve-wracking. There's no escape. I'm in the same room as them. You know, I can't pretend it's not happening. No, you know, it's again. There's going to be people who love it, and it's exactly what they thought it would be. There's going to be people who had a vision in their head, and it doesn't totally meet it, and that's okay. With a passionate fan base like the DC fan base, you just have to strive to do the best job that you can, and hope that it resonates with people who have lived in this world for that long.